Welcome to drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent Black people. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and I hope everybody's having a good day. I hope everybody's up this morning, ready to rock and roll. Normally, as you guys know, I'm in the 5 a.m. club, but today I was not in the 5 a.m. club. I was in the 7 a.m. club because I married the most beautiful Black woman in the history of the earth, and I like sleeping next to her. So today I decided to sleep in. So I hope you can forgive me for that. But anyway, I wanted to hop in a few minutes before we start our morning financial consciousness training. As you guys know, in the Black Business School, we have 159,000 students worldwide, and we do free financial training every single day. My PhD's in finance. I'd love to help you. And if you'd like to be invited to class, which starts at 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 days a week, you can just text the word morning, MORNING, to the number 87948. Text morning to 87948. I want to start there because I'm not just into complaining about problems. I'm into also seeking solutions for our people, solutions that work. So anyway, good morning, everybody. Give me a yes if you can hear me. Let's do a quick audio check. Let me know if I'm coming through okay. Let's get down to it. How many of you saw Barack Obama's recent there was a recent conversation he was having with Black men, and it was shown on CNN, and he was explaining to Black men why voting for Donald Trump is pretty much, he was kind of sort of insinuating that it would be just ridiculous and makes no sense at all, that Trump does not respect women, he does not respect Black people, etc. That was what he was kind of leaning toward. Give me a yes if you saw this. I shared the video on my Twitter. My Twitter is Dr. Boyce Watkins 1, Dr. Boyce Watkins 1, and I fully respect what he had to say. I have nothing against Barack at all. I lived a block and a half away from Barack, and when I lived in Chicago, and I was very proud of him when he ran for president. I was very happy when he was elected and all that other good stuff. But anyway, so Barack goes in, and apparently Kamala Harris's campaign is having trouble lassoing in Black men. They're having trouble getting Black men to do what we've done in almost every single election up until this point, which is to show up and deliver our vote. And I understand their frustration. The Democrats are very, very nervous, it seems, because they can't really sort of assume that Black people are all going to do what they're told this time. They're kind of having some problems with the idea that there are troublemakers out here like me, just, telling Black people to think for themselves and do what's best for you. And it's crazy because literally people like myself, I've never actually told anybody who to vote for. Give me a yes if you understand. Give me a yes if you agree with me. I do not tell you who to vote for. I don't even tell you to vote. I don't even tell you what you have. I tell you, what I tell y'all to do? Give me a yes if we can agree on this. I tell you all to do what's best for your family. That's it. I just say, look, do what's best for you. You do you. Because seriously, give me a yes if you agree with this. The politicians, are they thinking about your family? Think about it like this. I mean, do you think that Kamala and Trump and any of those people, Barack even, don't disrespect Barack, but seriously, do you think Barack and all of them, you think they're really thinking about your Black family? You think they really think about your Black ass son, your Black ass daughters, like what your Black ass wealth. You think they're thinking about any of that? They're not, right? Now, I'm not telling you who to vote for. I'm saying you need to be thinking about you. If you ain't thinking about you, and they ain't thinking about you, then why would you be surprised if you end up on the bottom of the barrel? See, this is 1 + 1 = 2. I know this is going to hurt some people's feelings because people sort of want to believe that their feelings sort of make things make sense. But I'm a mathematician, and 1 + 1 is always going to be 2, even if it hurts your feelings. So think about this. If they ain't thinking about your family and you ain't thinking about your family, then nobody's thinking about your family. And that might explain why the Black family is probably in the worst shape that it's ever been in the history of this country since slavery. Do you understand? So let's just start right there in terms of this conversation. I'm not here to insult Barack Obama. I'm not here to make any friends. And I'm going to tell you this. I heard Barack's speech, and he's such a great speaker. I mean, this man is he represents the country very well. Let me just start with that too. I think that, when Trump talks, he talks kind of sloppy. He kind of says whatever comes to his mind. He's not a very good debater. He's just he might be losing it because he's getting old. And then Kamala just talks in circles, and you ask her, so Kamala, what is your economic policy? Well, I grew up in a middle-class neighborhood, and my mother used to cook green beans every Sunday after dinner. Like, no, look, Kamala, what's your position on the war in the Middle East? Well, Dougie and I, we went to the market the other day, and we bought some asparagus because asparagus tastes really good in the summer. You know, when you like, lady, come on, answer the damn question. So I'm not impressed with any of these people. I'm just not. Now Barack had his own tricks, but the thing I like about Barack, and I was probably biased because he's a professor at the university. He taught at University of Chicago. I think professors are good for the world, right? You know, most of us. And he's articulate. He's sharp. He's he represents the nation in a way that you would think the president would represent the nation. I give him credit for that. He's good at his job. He's good at his job. But what Barack is not good at is he's not very good at the job that you think that he's doing. You gave him a job that he did not even ask for. You gave him the job of being a black leader. Barack Obama told y'all. He told y'all straight up. He said, I'm not a leader. I can't lead the black community. I got to go lead the United States." Right? So, and I think he did a good job at that. And what happens there is that because you're looking to this Messiah type person as your leader for your community, and he already told you he don't want the damn job. Like, look, you might be in love with me, but I ain't your man. I'm not your man. You're the side chick. You need to. Do you understand what that means? Yes, daddy. I love you. I'm loyal to you, daddy. And you got a good man that loves you, but you ignoring him because you paying attention to this man who told you he's got a family. He told you he's got another job, and that's what we did to Barack. I think we put more on him than he asked for. We put more on him than he needed to carry. So I wasn't completely surprised to see the way Barack sort of ran his presidency. But here's his problem now. The problem for Barack and the problem for the Democrats is that they've always been able to live under this fundamental assumption that black people don't like to think very much. They live under the assumption that black people operate in fear, that it's easier to scare black people into doing something than it is to convince them. They're accustomed to believing that black people are simply going to do what their grandmas told them to do. And what they're seeing is that with the emergence of more ideas on the landscape, right? You have things like the internet, which allow you to hear from all different perspectives. They're starting to see black folks kind of saying, you know, we're here to renegotiate the deal. It's not that we won't support you. We'll consider supporting you, but we just kind of need to know why we should support you instead of you going to the old trick of convincing us why we should not support the other person. Right? Because here's the deal. Let's make one fundamental statement here that I hope we can agree with, that not voting for a Democrat does not make you a Republican. Do we agree with that? Do we agree that there are millions of black people who have said, I'm not voting for the Democrats anymore? I saw what the Biden crime bill did to my community. I saw how the Obama administration unfortunately continued the tradition of benign neglect of the black community, where they neglected the community, didn't want to do hardly anything for us. We were hopeful when Barack got elected. Barack had you. We were in love with Barack as a community. And now, you know, a few years later, Barack is coming back and he's like, hey, baby, I thought we had a good thing going here. And we're like, no, man, no, you know, you didn't show up. You know, like you the baby daddy who only shows up at the graduation taking credit for raising a child that you didn't even call. You know, I think that's what a lot of the black community feels. I think a lot of people feel betrayed by Barack. And what's interesting is that it doesn't seem like they've really acknowledged that. They haven't really acknowledged the deadbeat dad status of both Barack and Michelle. Not true for everybody, though. I'm not saying everybody feels this way. And this is another thing about the black community that I think is worthy of respect, is that we are diverse. We're not the same. You know, we're not all thinking the same way. So there are some black people, and I get it. There are some black folks who are going to listen to somebody like me and say, I hate that Negro. That Negro, he's voting for Trump. He's going to destroy democracy because he's up here. So I'm not voting for Trump. Number one, that's the first thing I say. And I would question your assumption that somehow me not doing what you want me to do, not supporting the Democrat, means I'm somehow voting for a Republican. The only way, and I'm speaking as a mathematician here, I'm using logic here. The only way you can assume that me not voting for a Democrat is the same as me voting for a Republican is if you somehow assumed that you had my vote before you actually earned it. Like you literally showed up looking for the sex, assuming that I'm gonna get in the bed with you when you haven't even seduced me. You didn't even ask my permission. And these blatant violations of black political rights is what bothers me and offends me. It doesn't offend me when a black person votes for a Democrat. It doesn't offend me when a black person votes for a Republican. It doesn't offend me when a black person votes independent. It does not offend me when a black person does not vote. What offends me is when people show up doing this, waving fingers at you. How dare you? What's wrong with you? That's not acceptable. He used that term. That's not acceptable. And I was like, Barack, you do understand you're talking to grown ass men. So now some of us, so you got some men out here. I call them bearded babies. You got some men out here that will let you tell them what to do. They get scared and bow like little children. But there's a lot of men who won't. A lot of men are gonna be like, who do you think you're talking to? I've never once. Give me a yes or no if you've ever. I've never in my entire life ever seen Barack Obama go into a room full of Jewish men with their little yarmulkes and little curly things going down their head and talk to them like that. Has anybody ever seen this? It really, and they could do this if they wanted to. I mean, Kamala's husband, Dougie, I think, isn't he Jewish? Why don't he go into a room full of Jewish men and say, well, this is not acceptable. You have to support us. This is not acceptable. What do you think would happen if Kamala say, hey, Dougie, I need you to play your white Jewish man card, and I need you to go in here, and I need you to tell these men that it's not acceptable for them to vote for Trump because he's a bad guy and blah, blah, blah. They would tell him to get the hell up out of there. They would say, man, what is wrong with you? But see, here's the thing. And unfortunately, Barack, I hope Barack would hear something like this. I don't know how they feel. I don't know what little echo chamber they're in where they're not hearing this. But I would go to him and I'd say, why would you even talk to a man like that? A real man is not going to allow you to talk to him like that. If you want to understand why black men are not doing what you want them to do, then you should probably ask them what's going on. And then you should probably take the courageous step of actually addressing the issue and fixing it. Because when I listen to Barack, and I listen very carefully, just like the way I listen to rappers, I don't listen just to the beat. I listen to the lyrics, right? I'm not just trying to see if it's a great song. I'm trying to hear what you're actually saying in the song. So same thing is true there. I listen to his words precisely. And here's what he was basically saying. If you go back and listen to what Barack was telling black men, at not one point did I ever hear him really tell you exactly why Kamala Harris, Kamala, I'm going to pronounce it right, why Kamala Harris was a better choice for black men based on results, track record, things that she's going to do. I did not see that. I heard him. He did mention that he said, she understands you. She's like you, basically like, okay, she's the Indian Jamaican woman who went to an HBCU. We know these things. We know the history. That's all debatable. You can think whatever you want about that. But I did not hear one time where he really explained exactly logically why she's a better choice for black men, nor was there an addressing of why black men have defected. I mean, how did you go from loving us to being concerned about us, right? There wasn't any of that. And I also heard a lot of what you typically hear in politics, which is, we're not going to tell you why you should vote for us. We're going to spend more time telling you why the other guy is terrible, right? And what that does is remember, you're talking to a poker player here. And one thing about poker, I've won big tournaments in poker. I'm not a gambler, but I like poker because it's a great game of strategy, psychology, and mathematics. And as a PhD in finance and math and all that, that's what I'm good at, right? And one thing about poker is that you never allow yourself to get into situations where you're on the defensive. Because if you do that, then you're probably going to lose. So what happens is that when you are approaching someone and they say, I think I'm going to vote for Trump this time. And then you say, well, why would you vote for Trump? He's this, he's that, he's a bastard. And look at what he said and look at what he did and blah, blah. You can't defend that. You can't defend Trump. Trump's a son of a bitch. I mean, Trump is not a guy that's easy to defend by anybody. Even his own voters can't defend him. And then same thing is true on the Democratic side. If you go to the Democratic Party and say, well, why would you vote for the Democrats? They can't really tell you. They can't defend the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party is corrupt. They're terrible. We had Cornel West come in here and he explained to you all the horrible, corrupt things they were doing to suppress the black vote. He told y'all this. He broke this down, right? So you can't really defend the Democrats. The only thing you're able to say, whether you're Democrat or Republican, and this is really the flaw of the two-party system, the only thing you're able to say is, well, you think this is bad. Look at the other guy. Look at what they did. Oh, I can't vote for someone who would blah, 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 blah. You pick the side. That's how the conversation goes. And I want you to pay attention to that. So really with Barack kind of bringing this very disrespectful, very tired argument to black men, somebody needs to get them the memo that that ain't really working no more. That's just not working. I don't know how important the black male vote is to these individuals. It must be critically important because I mean we're not that big of a part of the population, but I think that they just assumed that we were going to show up and do what we were told. And a lot of black men are like, no, I'm not doing. And this is honestly the essence of manhood. The essence of manhood. This is just a little tip for all the men out here. The essence of manhood is that you have to have the courage to be a leader. You can't let other people drag you around by your nose your whole entire life. You can't let people constantly tell you what to do. Even the women understand this. You got women all the time saying, don't tell me what to do. I ain't letting no man order me around. Okay, that's fine. I respect that. I don't order my wife around. My wife does not order me around. There's a full-grown woman in the office next to mine. We work next door to each other, and there's a full-grown man in this office too. And what happens is that when we're trying to persuade each other, I don't walk in and put my balls on the table and hammer down with my fist and say, "Woman, you best do what I told you, woman. You best do you ain't no holes running nothing up in here." Don't nobody talk like that in this house. I gotta go persuade her. Okay, babe. All right. So here's what I'm thinking. Da, 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 da. Right. Same thing is true in this case. She can't walk in and say, "Boy, sit down. You need to do this and do that." I will be like, "What do you? Who you?" I'm looking for the person you're talking to because it can't be me because there's a full grown man in this chair and he heard you say something, but you must be talking to the midget behind me because it ain't me. That's not me, right? So my point is to say overall, generally speaking, you have some grown men in the black community who are now, for very logical reasons, saying that I'm not going to let you play me no more. And a lot of y'all don't understand it. I get it. A lot of y'all are mad. I understand it. I think that you have every right to do exactly what you're going to do. You have every right to be confused, even frustrated by what you're seeing. But what I can tell you is that I don't, from what I'm seeing, when I'm talking to the brothers that just, whether you're talking about young brothers on the streets or you're talking about older brothers that are in the boardrooms, a lot of these men are looking at what the results have been and they're saying this is not appropriate for the community that we're choosing to lead. We are tired of being last in the league. We are tired of getting our butts kicked every season. We are tired of being the football team that can't score a damn touchdown. We are tired of being seen as the leaders of a community with broken families, busted up neighborhoods, the last place when it comes to wealth, the most unemployed, the most incarcerated, kids coming out of school can't even read. I don't know about everybody else, but I'm sick of that shit. And what bothers me is that the people that you are allowing to be in charge of all this are people who are same ones showing up telling you to do exactly what you did last time. There are some people who see what's happening. They're like, no, this is not acceptable. If you keep doing exactly what you've always been doing, you're going to get exactly what you've always been getting. And what we've been getting has been absolute shit. And a lot of the reason that people love Barack Obama so much, and I was one of the first people to actually endorse him and actually predict that he was going to give Hillary Clinton a run for her money. I said this on CNN back in 2007, or when he did not have more than 10% of the vote. I said Hillary Clinton needs to watch out because this Barack Obama guy is very articulate. He's very sharp. I think that if he gets momentum in the black community, he could take Hillary down. At that time, I said that on CNN. There was nobody else who believed that. That sounded completely crazy, but I don't follow trends. I try to create them, right? Just like I started talking about black wealth 15, 20 years ago when nobody else was talking about it. Now we're all talking about generational wealth because I don't ask for validation to tell me if the idea makes sense. I just look and say what makes sense to me, and then I'll share that with you. You can agree or not agree. That's okay. So Barack Obama is a guy who, it's interestingly enough, he got a lot of support from black people and a lot of love from black people. And there are millions of black people, unfortunately, who had their feelings hurt because politics is an ugly game. Politics is built on lying to people. It's built on deception. It's built on misleading people. It's built on manipulating your emotional triggers. And unfortunately, that this might still work for some people, but it doesn't work for everybody. So this is what Barack is dealing with. I hope somebody tells him that because I'm gonna tell you what, you keep going, brother. You keep going out and giving speeches like that to black men. Oh, your image will be ruined. Your legacy within the black community will be completely destroyed because you're going to be seen as another pimp. That's what you're going to be seen as, a trafficker. Instead of trafficking sex like Diddy did, you're trafficking votes. You're going to be seen as a Negro manager, just somebody that they call whenever they need black people to show up for them. And what's interesting to me, and this is what I have to just stick with this, is that we always show up for them. But I want to ask you, do you really think they show up for us? I mean, really, in your heart of hearts, do you really feel like they show up for us the way we show up for them? Or do you think that this is an asymmetrical relationship, an abusive relationship? If you want us to show up for you, we will show up for you. We paid in advance. We always show up. But they don't show up for us like that. I sat there with Ice Cube. I was talking to Ice Cube. Ice Cube would call me every other day because he was smart enough to get advice from people that understand how this stuff works. So he talked to me and lots of other people. He was really serious about getting a good deal for the black community. Some of y'all Negroes acted so crazy and ridiculous. It was sad. You would defend massa till the death, and I didn't understand it. It was very weird behavior to me. I liked what he was doing because he went and he talked to experts in the black community to figure out, what do black people need? What do we need to put in place to fix this issue? And when I tell you that the shenanigans were at an all-time high, I'm not lying to you. I specifically remember when he told me that the Biden administration had said to him that, well, we won't address the issues now during the election. We'll address them after the election's over. And we just laughed, and because he's a logical guy, Ice Cube's strategic, and I said, wait, so they're telling you that you shouldn't ask for what you want when you have leverage, but yet you should wait until you have no leverage at all, and then they're going to show up and miraculously decide to do something for you that they wouldn't even do for you when they actually had to. And we know that that wasn't going to happen. We knew that after the election was over, they weren't going to call them, which they didn't. They didn't follow up based on what Cube told me. They didn't follow up at all. So they just made they literally did something that was highly unethical. This is highly unethical. They said, "Oh, we'll talk to you after the election," and then after the election, it's like, "Well, we don't need y'all no more. We done. Be gone, ho." Like that's kind of what it's like. Be gone, get out of here, get out of my bed. I left you 2 quarters on the dresser. Just get up out of here. I'll call you at the next election. And I don't know who in the hell is telling us that this pimp game is fair, or that it should remain effective. But I can just tell you that the corruption is very, very deep. And the only political people that I've actually allowed to come into this space were Cornel West and his vice president, Dr. Melina Abdullah, because I believe that she really wants what's best for people. And also Kwame Kilpatrick, the former mayor of Detroit. If you know, Kwame came in yesterday, and he's actually, if you go to drboycetv.com, that interview's up there. And I just wanted to hear their perspective, and because I want us to really see this system for what it is, so that as you engage in the system, you can make sure that you achieve one important goal, that you do what's best for your family. That's all. Now, give me a yes if we can agree that that's what I'm telling you to do what's best for you. And give me a yes if we can agree that that's okay. That it's okay for me to tell you to do what's best for you. If you think there's something wrong with me telling you to do what's best for you, then there's something wrong with you. My wife is a therapist. You can schedule an appointment because you're clearly sick in the fucking head. Excuse my French. If there's something wrong with me telling you to do what's best for yourself, I don't know any better way to tell you that I don't have an agenda. I'm not trying to tell you who to vote for. I'm not. Okay. So anyway, I didn't mean to cuss. I apologize. It's too early to be doing all that cussing. But I'm gonna go in a second, guys. But I wanted to invite you all. I believe in solutions, and one solution that we do in the Black Business School is every single morning I do something called financial consciousness training. It's economic elevation. We just have conversations about economics. So if you'd like to join us in class, you can pull out your phone, text the word morning, MORNING, to 87948. We call it Money in the Morning. Our goal is to make our community economically strong by making Black people the most economically intelligent group of people on the planet. This is part of our Project 2070. A lot of you have heard of Project 2025, but you may not have heard of Project 2070. Project 2070 is that within 2 generations, I believe that Black people, intelligent Black people, can be the most economically advanced group of people on the planet, but that's going to require work and consistency and commitment. So the work I want to do as a finance professor, I taught at Syracuse University 13 years, is to talk to you every single day, 7 days a week about economics. It's 100% free. So text the word morning to 87948 and you can join us, or you can just go to b1moneytips.com. All right. And I also hope you guys will join us at the All Black National Convention. We spent the whole year, spent hundreds hundreds of thousands of dollars of our own money, no corporate sponsorship, no money from the Democrat or Republican parties. And we're gathering intelligent Black people from all over the world in Chicago on October 25th to the 27th. And we're there solving problems. We've got probably about 30 different breakout sessions on everything from real estate to how to raise a strong family to cryptocurrency to therapy to all kinds of stuff. And my wife has helped me with that a lot. She's a licensed therapist. She's a full professor of social work, and she also trains therapists on how to be therapists. That's how good she is. So this is what we're doing. We're healing, we're building, we're connecting, we're collecting, we're growing, we're getting stronger. And it ain't got nothing to do with these damn politicians. So anyway, and Barack, if you hear this, you're welcome to come as well, because I actually do like you. I think people think I don't like you because I'm honest, but you got to stop that BS, man. Stop talking to Black men like we are children. We are not your kids. We are your brothers. And if you show me that you want to do something that's different, then I'll listen. But if it sounds like BS, my BS detector is very, very high. And in the minute you start talking that crazy political BS, I'm out of there, man. I ain't got time for that. Life is too short for us to spend time serving these politicians who ain't serving us. That's it, period. This two-party system is ridiculous. It is literally hilariously ignorant, and it's gonna destroy this country. Let me just make that. It's gonna destroy this country. There are so many problems, starting with the deficit and the debt. Oh my God, do you know that you have a $1.8 trillion deficit and a $37 trillion debt? You spend more money on interest paying the debt than it costs to fund the entire military. Do you understand how unsustainable that is? That's the type of debt you have during wartime or when you have a pandemic or something. That's not the type of debt you're supposed to have when you have a booming economy. So your politicians are a bunch of buffoons. Barack is not a buffoon. I think Barack is a very smart man. But the system in general is so ridiculous that it really threatens the strength. It threatens the survival of this country, in my opinion. I think, but it may take time for this to happen. But I don't know how America is going to be around in 80 years, 100 years. I just don't. But anyway, that's my 2 cents. I'm going to stop ranting on that. We're going to start class actually in a few minutes. So again, text the word morning to the number 87948. I will invite you to class. Our guest is Athena Gardner, who is a wealth expert from We Women Wealth. And she's really awesome. And she's also part of Fly Nubian Money. And you guys are going to really enjoy her. So have a good day, everybody. God bless you. And hit the thumbs up button. Thumbs up, share, subscribe. And if you want to know about the convention, the URL is allblacknationalconvention.com. That's allblacknationalconvention.com. So I won't just tell you about the problems. I actually want to put together solutions, because life is too short for us to sit around whining and crying. We got to fix these things. Talk to you guys later. Have a great day. God bless you. Peace.